to see the different technology that we see on the lineup today.
And Yeri, still with 29 kilometres of her run to be taken. Wide open highways at the moment. As you can see, the road surfaces here are absolutely impeccable. They've been looking forward to and preparing for these Road World Championships for such a long time. And this nation, after its troubles, of course, with the genocide in 1994, has rebuilt itself with the care and attention, I think, of the world, really. And the goodwill that has poured onto this nation is absolutely huge. And it just shows you how regeneration and indeed looking towards the future can actually bring an amazing nation, which is what we're dealing with here. Rwanda, I urge you to come and visit. It is spectacularly friendly. And indeed, when you look at the countryside here as well, there is so much for you to enjoy. Today, of course, we're going to be playing with the roads, but we'll have some spectacular shots, and we'll be taking you around Rwanda as well to enjoy. Ethiopia, also noted as a great cycling country as well. We've had some terrific riders come out of Ethiopia. And this is Ser Kalem Watango about to get underway. There's a lot of support has come from all the African nations to make sure that they give their riders an amazing send-off.
Yeah, there really has. And you look at the qualification process for the UCI World Championships, and there are opportunities, as we nodded to before, for riders to have representation, that they are able to have a spot for their nation to line up. And of course, we've known that this is going to be the first time for a little while now that we would see the championships take part in Africa, and so there's been so many of these nations able to prepare to field this, and we've said time and time again already how special this is, but we've also had the brilliant work of Team Africa Rising. Since 2007 they have been working on the development originally in Rwanda, known as Team Rwanda Cycling, but it's further expanded in that time to really focus on under 23 junior development, so that these young riders are ready to field at this level.
Absolutely, and as you look at Watango from Ethiopia, she is just 23 years of age.
On est arrivé il y a 3 jours avec l'équipe du chrono mixte. Voilà, on a passé,
I'll be here, I've been here for 3 days. Very much looking forward to the mixed TT later on. It's super lovely here. It's everyone's been so kind. We've been out having a ride, we're exploring, been sweating a lot as well, to be honest. I think it's going to be super demanding, really very hard, and with the altitude and the humidity as well. I believe that it's going to be one of the toughest championship runs of my career. That was Cédrine Kerbayon, who earned her place at this, her third World Championships after a strong season where she finished 8th overall in the Tour de France, you might remember. She's also French national champion. Earlier in the season, she won the national title for the second time in her career, and beating her compatriot, Juliette Labousse.
I'm really excited to see Cédrine Kerbayon in action today, because I think what we have learned, if nothing else, over the last couple of seasons is not how well she can climb, but how much she keeps the pressure on descents as well. So keep an eye out for Cédrine.
Is Monica Kiplagat
Announced this morning that she is pregnant, so huge congratulations to Grace Brown. And it was such a joyful post, because she said, I am really excited to see a new world champion crowned today, somebody else take this jersey, and it's not going to fit me for much longer, and I'm not going to be able to stay in the time trial position for much longer because I'm having a baby. So huge congratulations to Grace Brown.
Grace, if you're watching, it's been a pleasure to watch you, and best of luck. It's a wonderful time you've got coming. Here is Bokpo Congo from Botswana, off and underway. Yes, she was in the Bebekeri Charity Cycling Challenge, the activation ride. So presumably starting a whole new raft of yet more races, where she got herself a top 10. And as a youngster, this is going to be huge for her. Next up will be Natalia Frolova, one of the individual neutral athletes that will be getting us off and underway. The first benchmark, I think, and possibly somebody that may well find quite a few riders out there, will be Harmony Ahowisu from Benin. One of, I think, not amongst the favourites, but two-time Benin champion, extraordinarily. Of all the African riders, I think she's possibly going to be one of the very best. And she lines up with other very strong time trialists. Just completed the Maryland Cycling Classic in Baltimore, so starting to indeed go global as well, which is what this is all about. Bringing yet more African athletes to the pro peloton, be that women's or indeed men's, is very much an aim. This is a sport that celebrates the individual, also celebrates national pride, and there have been many countries that have actually moved to cycling as a form of national promotion, and you've got to say that Rwanda has done that really well with excellent racing in this country for many years.
Yeah, for a long time now we've really seen that development, haven't we? And its presence has just been so known on the world stage of cycling, and the amount of work they're putting in to develop this sport. And I think that is what's quite prominent when you look at the early starters today, is that if you do look down their palmares and their list of results, they are a lot sparser, I guess. They're more sparse than we'll see at the pointy end of the action. But as you say, there's a lot of context to that, and we've got a lot of these early riders who fielded bigger races and not finished them, but gaining that experience is just so crucial to that development, as you say, not only for individuals but for them as an entire nation. So yeah, the levelling up of these riders today, this is a big deal.
Frolova coming off the ramp to start her run. These guys' arms are going to start hurting a little bit later on. I mean, can you imagine the impact on those wrists?
I think they've put in so much training. They are ready, Carlton. But having said that, I mean, talking about measuring efforts today with this course, I think they're going to have to start looking at measuring their effort there with the impact on the arm and wrist area. But no, jokes aside, I think it's going to be really interesting to look at the pacing. Of course, in our sport, we see a lot of short time trials, perhaps part of Grand Tours and multi-stage races. But today, this is a really important measured effort. And you've talked about the nature of the climbing and the elevation gain today, and in the land of 1,000 hills, it's not a small feat to make sure you pace it on the climbs, but really pivotal to that when you look at all the elements that we're throwing at riders today is the fact that they are riding at altitude at 1,500 metres. Also, you're looking at things like the air quality and actually going into the red too early on the ascent with that pressure, I guess, to recover for the rest of the effort. Pacing is going to be so critical. And again, we'll have riders that have done a lot of full recce's, riders that haven't, people that have climatised, people that have had less time to do that. Also, when we look to the latter part of our field today and our later starters, it's really interesting to look at who's been fielding all the stage races, who's been maybe hiding and coming in a little bit fresher, having perhaps done more altitude training. So I'm really excited to see some of the unknowns answered today, because yeah, pacing is going to be critical in this part of the world.
Well, this is the Volcano National Park, Rwanda's northern province, a place of legend, really, you might say. Mist-covered peaks is what it's all about. The walking and indeed some of the wildlife that you will come across is absolutely outstanding. Take yourself a local guide, by the way, if you are coming to these parts. It's by, I guess, for many European standards and beyond, it is not an expensive endeavour. And if you have a local guide, you're going to get the very, very best out of your experience. And experience is what we're here for. Tanzania's Jamila Abdullah is next off the ramp, and I swear that these guys are getting into party zone at the moment. I'm actually wondering who it is that they are teeing themselves up to give their biggest send-off to, and I think it's going to be Diana Igabire of Rwanda, who goes off very, very late and may well indeed be one of those that they're going to be screaming for. Yeah, it's a terrific day, this.
We'll have to see how they're getting on at the early time split, aren't we? Whether
Yes. We are. Well, we've still got some time to go. Last rider will be coming off the ramp at 10 past midday local time. That's the same as Central European time, the latitude.